is it so acceptable to be anti-Semitic? We've had marches through our
The Palestinians are Semitic. They are speaking Semitic languages coming from the Semitic region.
It's perfectly acceptable to walk through the capital of this country shouting, "Kill the Jews," from the river to the sea.
Where do you hear that? I have
heard it on a lot of news programs. They're not putting it out now.
Which news program? I want to
main
know.
news programs.
Which one?
Go and look.
I've looked all the time. I've never heard anybody talking about
let's talk about the 40,000 dead. Let's talk about the 40,000 dead.
Well, please tell the whole audience where to find it. I don't know where to find that. I've not seen nothing
with the
about kill the
Palestinian
Jews.
flag. Genocide on the West Bank. And by the way, on Gaza. By the way, the people who go around like the Jewish settlers, I would lock all of those up. Set fire to that village the other day. In my mind, vile, horrible. But let me just make this point, and then you can come back.
Right,
the point is, had there been any kind of genocide in Gaza, it would have been finished, the fight, a long time ago.
About a week.
Okay, listen. Now, as a student of law who takes law very seriously, it seems, James, that you're waiting for every single one of the Palestinians to be exterminated before you're willing to acknowledge a genocide. The whole point of bringing charges at the International Criminal Court is to avoid the ultimate genocide. Now, by the way, Greater Israel, getting back to it, you say it's a conspiracy. That's ignorant, by the way. Greater Israel is an absolutely declared intention plan. And guess who stands in the way of Greater Israel more than anybody else? The Palestinians, because they have a lawful claim to that land. Historic Palestine is known as a factual reality. It's in the Bible, which you may or may not care about. The bottom line is the history books make this clear. Jesus was a Palestinian from Nazareth, no less. These are the descendants of Jesus of Nazareth. Whether you love him, hate him, acknowledge him,
you take it back to history, we're never going to get anywhere,
We've only got a minute left. Can we not talk about the 40,000 dead? Can we not talk about
historical facts?
Are we going to talk about that or not?
What do you want to talk about?
I want to, because
what do you want to know?
I want to know if you think 40,000 dead is the lowest ratio of innocent people killed compared to terrorists in modern urban warfare.
If we listen to the Lancet, they say the actual number is going to be about 187,000.
So Hamas are underestimating it, are they? Hamas are on Israel's side.
Well, then wouldn't that really upset you then, Ash?
Well, it's obviously a load of bunker.
So what do you think of the Lancet? Since you don't like Hamas, what do you think of the Lancet? What do you think of their
BMA? They're totally non-political. Yeah, cool.
So who's your source then for truth? How do you know anything? Where do you get your knowledge?
So let's stop that right there. This guy was cooking, making some good points. He's making some hell of a good points. Let's talk about these Christians, all right, real quick. Let's talk about these Christians. He asked a question. He said, do Christians care that Jesus was a Palestinian? That's a good point. Do the fake Christians, the Christians in America, like in the Congress, and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, who's married to a white racist Zionist man who's keeping check on her, right? And these people run an apartheid state against blacks and Arabs, but she's married to him, and she's a so-called black woman. Doesn't say much for black women, does it? Doesn't say much for black women when they can marry a white man who has sworn allegiance and is part of an apartheid state that runs racist Jim Crow and genocide tactics against a population of so-called non-white people. But she's a black woman. Go vote for her. I mean, it's insanity, right? But let's get to more than insanity. Let's talk about, right, these Christians. He made a good point. He made a point that you got to deal with it, right? These Christians, they don't want to deal with reality, so reality is about to be forced on them in the form of a war. But let's just deal with the reality. When the man brought it up, they said, we don't want to talk about history. White people never want to talk about history. Why? Because it's a closed case. You can't really get around it, right? So they say, well, you know, I wasn't there, I didn't do that. Let's not stop bringing up the past while talking about George Washington's birthday or the Holocaust or something, right? They'll tell you quick, like he told this man, stop bringing up the past. We can't get nowhere talking about the past. But then he'll be like, yo, we got to have a Holocaust celebration or something, commemoration, or, you know, 4th of July or something. I mean, these people aren't saying, that's why you can't get anywhere with any of this stuff that's going on. But Do Christians care that Jesus was a Palestinian, so-called Arab, so dark that he would have probably been considered a black man in America? I'm considered black. He would have been probably darker than me. So if he'd have been in America, he would have been considered black, right? Because he would have been probably darker than me as far as skin tone. He would have been much, darker than me. He would have been considered, black. He wouldn't look like probably a lot of the people, those Turkish, mulatto, European Arabs that you see there today. He would have been more of a Semite than even me. So he would have been considered pretty much a black man, right? And so he said, he asked, do Christians care that Jesus was a Palestinian? And that, if he was there today, he would probably be dead. If Jesus was there today, he wouldn't have been crucified by Pontius Pilate on a cross. He would have been blown to bits by an American-made bunker buster bomb on his tent that he was sleeping in. You see, like, that's how times change, right? He wouldn't have been crucified by Pontius Pilate. He would have been crucified by Benjamin Netanyahu, Israeli Jews, and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and the people of the United States who supplied the bombs to blow him and all of the Palestinian semi-Arabs apart, right? The so-called Christians. They blew up the third oldest church in so-called Christianity, right? It's funny. Do they care that Israelis are destroying their religious homeland and culture? Do you ever ask yourself that question? All these churches in America, right? All these people in the Congress and, Joe Biden, he claimed he a Christian. How come, you have to ask yourself some questions. If this is real, how come if they Christians and that's their religious, I don't know, the base of their religious culture and homeland for their, culture or, I don't know how to describe it, their cult group. How come they're not concerned? How come they didn't want to stop them destroying all of their so-called culture, right? You would think that they would be running out in the street, running down to Congress. It would be all-out mayhem to stop them from wiping out, where their so-called Messiah comes from, because that's not their Messiah. What they're doing has nothing to do with Christianity, other than the fact that they bastardized it and created a white, racist, Nazi cult group. But because, if that's not true, what I just said, then why aren't they feverishly trying to stop it? Why are they cheering it on? Why are these people in their churches and their representatives cheering on the murder of 150,000 Semites? 150,000 of the direct descendants of so-called Jesus Christ. It's just a question. It's a legitimate question. And then what would they say? Stop bringing up history. That's your response? It's a legitimate question. You claim you the one with a cross on. You know what I mean? Like, I don't wear crosses. I'm just saying, you're the one with a cross on. You're the one in this church with that picture, that man on the wall that looks like Keanu Reeves, that you're saying that he's Jesus Christ. Jim Caviezel over there on the wall. And that's Jesus of Nazareth, which is in, would be Gaza Strip, right? Which would be West Bank in that area, right? You're the one that claiming, you're walking around with a Bible in your pocket, thumping your Bible in my fucking face, right? So I'm just saying, it's a legitimate question. It's not me keep bringing up history. These are the people that you're giving bombs to, right? The people making the bombs, giving the bombs, paying for the bombs, tens of billions of dollars in bombs to blow apart 150,000. Those 150,000 people, those 20,000 children are the descendants of so-called Jesus Christ, are his direct descendants. They are Semites who have been in that area, their bloodline, right? If they didn't come from Uzbekistan like Benjamin Netanyahu, or Ukraine, like Benjamin Netanyahu. That's not where they're from. They are from that area. They've been there for thousands, hundreds, if not thousands of years. Okay? So if that's the case, they would be direct descendants of so-called Jesus Christ. They would be considered Semites. They would be considered actually true Jews. They would be considered Jewish people by biblical standards. Even though they are Muslim, now they would be Muslim converts, Islamic converts, right? But if Christ, what was Christ? Christ was a Palestinian. Was he an immigrant? Did he immigrate from Europe? No, he was born there. His family was from there. He was from the bloodline of David. He was considered a Jew, right? A dark-skinned man. A brown-skinned, dark-skinned man would have been considered a Jew. By today's standard, he would have been considered a black man if he would have been in America, right? He was a Semite. You see, he would have been considered a Semite and a Jew. So what does that mean? Those people that you're bombing, that you're calling terrorists, are the original descendants of Christ, which would make them Jews also. I mean, it's elementary school shit, right? It's elementary school shit. Like this what I'm saying is 6th grade stuff. It's 7th grade stuff. It's not like rocket science. And this man was talking about that, right? So if we understand these elementary concepts, why don't the so-called Christians in America want to protect the descendants of Jesus Christ, the direct descendants? Why? Why don't they care? Why would they give bombs up to blow apart and destroy the descendants of Christ and blow apart the churches, right, and the synagogues of Christ, and replace it with the synagogue of Satan, Revelations 2:9? Why would they do that if they're Christians? Why would they do that? Why would they blow up the 3rd oldest church, a couple, or the oldest churches in their so-called culture, if that's their culture? If these people that you're looking at every day driving past these churches, right? In Brazil, you got the huge statue of so-called Jesus Christ. In Colombia, you got these huge statues of Christ in these churches and these huge crosses, right? I believe they got one in Colorado. Answer the question. If these people, if this is their culture and that's their people that's being systematically exterminated in churches, in the homeland of their culture, their religion, their Messiah, his direct descendants being wiped out, why are they cheering? Why are they clapping for Benjamin Netanyahu in Congress? Why are they giving up money? Why are they not upset in Brazil? Why are they not upset in Colombia? Why are they not upset in Mexico? Why are they not upset in Colorado? Why are they not upset in Baltimore? Why are they not upset in New York, in Washington, D.C., in Los Angeles, in Houston, in Dallas? Why are they not upset about this? These so-called Christians. It's just a question. Don't get upset, unsubscribe, go cry in your soup, get mad. Right? Just answer the question. Do you already know the answer? Right? Why are they not upset? Why are they not down at their congressman's office banging on the door saying, stop, you're killing our people. You're killing the people of Christ, the direct descendants of Christ, right? If Christ was in Gaza today, they would kill him at the hands of the Israeli, Revelation 2:9, the synagogue of Satan. They would use the synagogue of Satan, the false Jew, to bomb the false Christian, because that's what they are. They're just false Christians. Would give bombs to the false Jew to bomb the direct descendants of the so-called Christ, the so-called the line of people that the Messiah come out of, and blow up the churches. And you don't have a problem, you don't see nothing wrong with that. You just going to work, you going to Walmart, you going to church Sunday, you watch the news, you're like, oh, I gotta turn this off. It's too brutal, I don't want to see these people getting killed. Hamas, then you start talking at the lunch table, yeah, these Hamas terrorists, right, with your cross on, right? Then you go sit in your church, talking about Hamas is a terrorist, we support Israel, we stand with Israel. You stand with Israel to kill the descendants of Christ. You are a goddamn hypocrite. Somebody should tell you. No one, why won't your family tell you? Why won't your pastor tell you? Why won't your friends tell you? Why won't your politicians tell you? Why won't the head of your church tell you? Why won't the head of your schools tell you? Why won't the principal at Colorado University or the dean or somebody tell you? They're smart people, right? Like this man just told you. You're killing the descendants of Christ. If Jesus Christ was in Gaza today, he would be running and hiding, and you would be dropping bombs on him. He might even be a Hamas member, right? Because Christ was a fighter. The Christ in the Bible, what did he? Let me give you a quote by the real Christ, not the one the fake white Christ. The real Christ, the one that was born in Gaza Strip. You know what he said? He said, "Bring me those people who wish that I should not rule over them, and slay them in front of me." He would have been saying that about the Jews. So Christ would have been considered a terrorist and a member of Hamas if he was alive right now. Christ would have been a member of Hamas. He would have been fighting. He would have been saying, what? These people came, they don't want us to rule, they want to take our homeland. We got to fight these people and kill them. That would have been, that's Jesus today. He would have been considered a Hamas terrorist. And you would be trying to bomb him and kill him in Gaza or in the West Bank or in Jerusalem. I mean, that's just the truth. All right, stop bringing up the past, man. Hey, but listen, I'm not the one sitting in church every Sunday. I don't wear crosses. I don't walk around with Bibles stumping on it. What do you mean stop bringing up the past? Why don't you take that cross off? Why don't you burn those Bibles? Why don't you rip those churches down and stop going in there on Sunday? Don't get mad with me. I'm not the one giving bombs to people that kill members of Jesus Christ, race, group, culture, community. I'm not doing that. You are. So what are you mad at me for? I'm not the one fronting with a cross on while killing Semites and then screaming the Semites are anti-Semitic. I'm not doing that. You are. Why you're doing it is the question. You can't help yourself. Why can't you help yourself? You don't know that you're doing it, right? See, so you have to ask yourself some questions, right? Jesus Christ was a Palestinian Arab, so-called. He probably was so dark you would have called him a black man and not an Arab. Right? That's how dark he probably was. You see? Why don't these so-called Christians care that the Israelis are destroying their religious homeland and they're part of their culture? Why? Right? I just got questions. But you know what? It leads to the truth. And the Bible said the truth will set you free. What you're dealing with is not what you think. I'm not going to make this too long, but I think I made the point. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to back up off it. Right? I'm going to land my plane. But I think I've made the point. You need to understand what you're dealing with. And you're not dealing with, these are not Christians. Right? And well, Christian is not even a real thing. It's a cult group. Right? Because Christ, which means Messiah, the Messiah was a Jew. He wasn't a Christian. Right? And he wasn't Christian being a religion. You see, a Jew is a race of people. He was a Judean from the tribe of Judah. He would have been, who descended from the line of David, King David. You see? I mean, if you want to get technical, that's who he was. That's his genealogy. And those people that you're bombing and calling terrorists are his family. They would be considered in his bloodline. What you think he gonna do? People obviously don't really believe what they say they believe. But let's just say this is all true. Let's just say a resurrected form of this Christ is coming back, or somebody in that bloodline, right? Is resurrected in the vein of and it comes back somehow, whatever, right? What do you think he's gonna do to you when he comes? Because if I can figure it out, and he's so-called enlightened and Messiah, he can figure it out, right? He's not stupid. You're stupid. He's not stupid. What do you think he's going to do to you? What do you think he's going to do to the people that gave the synagogue of Satan, or are part of the synagogue of Satan, right? What do you think he's going to do to them? What do you think he's going to do to the people that gave bombs and money to these people that kill his descendants and destroy his temples in the Gaza Strip and in Jerusalem and in Palestine and in West Bank, right? They are his direct descendants. What do you think he's going to do to you if it's real, right? Maybe it's not real, nothing happened 500 years from now, we'll be still here talking about the same thing. But let's just say it's real, that's not true, and I don't know, 6 months from now, you see the manifestation of this Messiah. Do you think he's going to be happy with you in your church in Idaho? Do you think he's going to be happy with the U.S. Congress? You think he's going to be happy with people in Los Angeles in the church, or in Florida in the church, or in Texas in the church, or in Baltimore or New York City? You think he's going to be happy that you bombed his direct descendants and you bombed the homeland of his descendants, right? You think he's going to be happy about that? And he's going to want to be your friend? That you supported the people that did that? That you called his descendants terrorists and stole their land and killed 20,000 children that descended from his people? You think he like you and he don't care about his people, his descendants? You think he's like Michelle Obama or Barack Obama or Kamala Harris, a fake black person, right? You just cosplay black, you cosplay part of a culture just to get money. You think he's like that, right? That's what you think about him. That's how you think of it. This is the psychology of these people. I'm gonna wrap this, but I mean, you know, I'm just trying to get into the mind of these. Only thing I can think, the word I can think of is, what would you be considered, you know, and I hate to be harsh, but we have to get blunt and get to the point so we don't waste a lot of time. These degenerates, you see? I mean, I don't know what else to call it. Because how else could you turn on your own culture, right? Your own religious homeland and culture, and then allow the direct descendants of this thing to be wiped out while you clap? We stand with Israel. We stand with Israel. We stand with Israel. What the fuck? Where is that in the Bible? You're killing the descendant. Wait a minute. This doesn't make sense. You think that's what he's going to do? He'll be like, yeah, I forgive you. Don't worry about it. Them 200,000, you know, dead people in Palestine, and those 20,000 dead children, don't worry about it. Even though y'all came here from Europe and did this, and y'all not part of my bloodline, y'all not my people, we good, no problem. I mean, this is their cosmology, their theology, this is their conscious, this is how their mind works. You can't see that this is psychotic and crazy, the whole thing. I ain't gonna belabor the point, I'm out. That's all I got.